Welcome to the Kingdom Culture Podcast that was created on purpose with a purpose to empower, uplift, and guide others to the center of God's perfect will. Kingdom Culture family, welcome back to the Kingdom Culture Podcast. I hope you guys are all having an amazing week. So, end of 2024, all of 2025, I've been healing through heartbreak. And we're in 2026, and I can finally feel comfortable and ready to talk about it. I left my relationship of 7 years. I was married. And while I was healing through it, there's different things that I learned. There's different phases to healing through heartbreak, and I wanted to share them with you. The first one is letting ourselves feel, acknowledging our pain. Because when we go through heartbreak, right, it's not about letting go of a person. It was letting myself feel my pain and sit with it without judging myself, right? Because when we go through heartbreak, the first thing that we want to do is be strong, move on, and we keep telling ourselves, trust God and see the lesson in why this happened. And, the next person is going to be who you need, who truly is for you, right? But that wasn't always helpful to me in the beginning. I realized that I was trying to avoid all of these feelings and not go through the layers of healing, of the pain, because there's grief, anger, sadness, disappointment, confusion, even, guilt for feeling better, for feeling relieved, for saying, you know what, this wasn't working anymore for me, so I had to walk away. And I carried a lot of guilt because, 7 years with a person and you just kind of let it go. It truly took me into this thing of guilt. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, overreacting? Is there anything I can do to save the relationship? And I did. I tried to go back and save it and try again, but I just, it worked out better for us to be separated. And I want you to realize that when you're going through heartbreak and you're feeling all of these things, all of your feelings are valid. They are valid even though they don't make sense, right? But you have to realize that avoiding your emotions doesn't mean you're healing. It means that you're making yourself numb. And I also went through that, right? And when I was feeling numb and trying to distract myself and not feel, the Lord brought me to Psalms 34:18, which says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Now, in this season of my life, I realized two things. The Lord does not wait for us to stop hurting so he can come. He meets us in the hurt. He wants to be with you in the uncomfortable. He wants to be with you even when you're crying your eyes out and can't say a prayer. Right? I realized that, I was trying to rush my healing because sitting with the pain felt uncomfortable. I wanted answers. I wanted closure. I wanted clarity. I wanted peace fast. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm the one leaving. I should be just on top of the world, because I was in so much confusion and hurt in the relationship that when walking out of it, I told myself, this is what I needed. This is what I, was afraid to do for so long. And I was so wrong. I was trying to rush through my healing and not feel all of the emotions that came with it, right? Because my healing didn't start with answers or clarity. It started with me being honest, right? And so I want to give you guys 4 actionable steps that you can use to acknowledge your feelings. Number 1 is you name your emotion without judging it, right? Instead of saying, I shouldn't feel this way, try saying, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel disappointing. Because naming an emotion doesn't make us weak, it makes us aware. And awareness is where healing begins, right? Number 2 is give yourself permission to sit with it. You don't have to rush your process. We have to be okay with sitting, with, distancing ourselves, with, not being okay for everybody else. We have to sit with our emotions without trying to fix them. Sometimes the most healing thing you can say is, this hurts, and that's okay. And so I had to do a lot of that. It's like, this isn't, what I envisioned for myself, but it's okay because I know that at the end of it, everything will be better. Number 3 is get it out of your head and onto something else. What I did a lot was journal what I was feeling. I would journal and read my Bible. I would journal and pray with the Lord. I talked to trusted friends, and I went to therapy. right? So in therapy, there was a lot of things that I got to talk through without feeling judged or feeling like this person knew everything about me. So she already had an envision of who I was. And it really helped, right? I know in the Hispanic community, therapy is not really a thing that's talked about, but it truly helped me heal and say things that I didn't think, I needed to let out. Journaling was a really good thing too, because guess what? That journal, I threw it out. Nobody else read what I was putting in there. Only me and God know what I was grieving through, right? Because honestly, your heartbreak, your pain, it needs an outlet. When emotions stay trapped inside, they turn into anxiety, resentment, and self-doubt, right? Because you're bottling it all in, and it'll come out a different way if we don't do it in a safe, contained environment, right? So know that you need an outlet and you need to get it out, and you're not meant to carry all of those things by yourself. And then the last thing that I want to bring to you guys is the fact that, we need to release the need for everything to make sense. You need to let go of the thought, the expectation that everything needs to make sense at the time that you're going through heartbreak, right? Because some things won't click immediately. For me, I was like seeking clarity, right? And so I was like, okay, cool. Like I did this thing. It's, it's a big push to my life. It literally, I walked away. So I moved. I got into a new gym, a new city, everything all at once. And it was a lot. And so I was like, okay, cool. New house, new place, new gym, checking off these boxes so that it made sense for me why I left, right? But clarity often comes after healing, not before. And because I was chasing all of these things, I was keeping myself occupied and not sitting with my emotions, right? So I needed to understand that my job at the time wasn't to understand everything. It wasn't to sit and be like analyzing every next step or block of my life, right? It was to be gentle with myself and heal, right? And so I want to make sure that you realize that not everything needs to make sense at every moment. The Lord only lets you see one step at a time, right? You can only build something one block at a time because that's all you have. And so sitting and not rushing through what you need to, figure out is the way that I ended up healing. And I ended up seeing like, okay, cool. Like now I have clarity on this. This is why this didn't work out. Now I have clarity on where I need to improve as a person if I want to be in another relationship. Now I have clarity of how we're going to co-parent and move on with life. Those things come, as you build your healing, right? So one of the hardest truths I learned is that you can't heal what you refuse to feel, right? You can't heal what you refuse to not look at. So I understood that God was close to me. I understood that God wanted me to heal and to be honest and to sit with my emotions. And that's what I want you to do if you're going through a heartbreak of whatever kind it is, right? I hope this episode reminds you that feeling isn't failing. Feeling is part of faith, and healing starts with you being honest with yourself. I hope that you have an amazing week. And if this resonated with somebody, please share it forward. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. God bless.